You ever look around and wonder why the most talented person you know isn't always the most successful? Well, today, we're going to dig into a paradox that really gets to the heart of that exact question. It's this powerful idea that explains why having the absolute best product doesn't mean you're going to win. And honestly, the answer might completely change how you look at business and maybe even your career forever. So let's start with this question from Robert Kiyosaki, which is it's brilliant. Why is the person who can make the best hamburger often broke, while the person who can't is a billionaire? Just think about that for a second. You probably know some incredible chef or a coder who's a total genius or an artist who's just masterful, but they're struggling to make ends meet. And then you have McDonald's, right? They're not even pretending to have the best burger, and yet they are a global empire. So what is going on here? What's the secret sauce? Let's unpack it. All right, we're calling this the billionaire burger paradox. And to crack this thing wide open, we've got to look at two totally different ways people approach making a living. And it's this one distinction that, well, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, this right here lays out the core difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the small business owner. Let's call them the S type. They've basically just bought themselves a job. They're the expert, the master burger flipper. But here's the catch. If they get sick, if they take a day off, the money just stops. Now look at the big business owner on the right, the B type. They don't own a job, they own a system. And that system is the real asset. It works for them, cranking out income whether they show up or not. And that leads us right to the fundamental battle at the heart of this paradox. It all boils down to this one question, and you should ask yourself this. Are you focused on building a better product, or are you focused on building a better system? Your answer to that, well, it reveals everything. The real game changer here comes down to one word: leverage. The product creator, our S type, is totally limited by their own resources, their own time, their own money. Their whole focus is on being the absolute best at their craft. But the system builder, the B type, they're playing a completely different game. They use other people's time, or OPT, by hiring a great team, and they use other people's money, OPM, from investors. See, their goal isn't to be the best person flipping burgers, it's to build the best burger flipping machine. And what's the ultimate prize for building that machine? It's the holy grail of finance, passive income. We're not talking about trading your hours for dollars anymore. This is about building a system that makes money for you while you're asleep, while you're on vacation, while you're off dreaming up your next big idea. It's the huge difference between working for money and having your system work for you. Okay, so let's look at the ultimate case study for this whole idea. I mean, there is no company on earth that proves the power of a system over a product better than McDonald's. The secret to their insane success isn't in the meat patty, it's in the process. This is where the story gets really good. The McDonald brothers, they weren't trying to create some gourmet burger. They were obsessed with one thing: speed. Their restaurant was getting too slow, so they did something that sounds totally crazy. They shut the whole thing down, went to a local tennis court with some chalk, and literally drew out their dream kitchen from scratch. They choreographed every single step, every movement, like a perfectly timed dance, all to hit this one insane goal: get a full meal into a customer's hands in 30 seconds flat. That was the real product they were inventing. And this is the absolute genius insight that a milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc had when he walked in that door. He didn't taste a burger that was going to change the world. No. He saw a system that would. A system that was so perfect, so repeatable, he knew it could be copied and pasted all over the globe. The real product wasn't the hamburger. It was the hamburger business. That's what he bought, and that's what he turned into an empire. So, if building these amazing systems is the key, why isn't everybody doing it? Well, the answer isn't about a lack of money or even a lack of skill. It's a mental trap. It's a mindset that's been drilled into most of us since our very first day of school. Kiyosaki saw this trap play out with his own father, the man he calls his poor dad. Now, this was a brilliant man, super educated, a top government official, but he was hardwired to think like an employee. So when he was unjustly fired and blacklisted, he did what he thought was the smart, safe thing to do. He bought a franchise. He bought a pre-made system. But he didn't understand how to run a system. He only knew how to work in one. And that one critical misunderstanding cost him everything he had. This slide right here gets to the absolute core of it. It's all about your internal programming. The employee mindset is always looking for security. So when a crisis hit, his dad's gut instinct was to find a safe job, even if it was a job he had to buy. But the business owner mindset, it's looking for freedom. They don't want a job. They want to build a system that makes a job unnecessary for them. It all comes down to security versus freedom. And here's the takeaway. It's so crucial. You can have all the degrees and all the money in the world, but if you bring an employee's mindset, that deep-seated search for security, into the world of a business owner, which demands a search for freedom, you're pretty much setting yourself up to fail. Your mindset is way more important than your money. So, this leads us to one of the biggest myths in the entire business world. The idea that you need a huge pile of cash to get started. But the truth is, a real system builder starts with something infinitely more powerful than money. So how much of their own money does a true system builder actually need to get started? Zero. A big, fat zero. And no, that is not a typo. They almost never use their own cash. So if money isn't the real starting capital, what is? The real capital is all in your head. It's a combination of a few key things. First, you need a brilliant documented system, the actual blueprint for your machine. Second, you need deep knowledge of your field. But third, and this is the absolute key, you need leadership. That's the skill to sell your vision so powerfully that investors are lining up to give you their money. That's your OPM. And the smartest people are lining up to give you their time. That's your OPT. Your vision, that's the real capital. So we end up right back where we started, but now hopefully with a totally new perspective. The person who can make the best hamburger, they're focused on the product. The person who becomes a billionaire, they're focused on the system. So the question I want to leave you with is this. In your career, in your projects, in your life, which one are you building?